You can starve to death with a full stomach. This is not a metaphor. A human body burning 2,000 calories daily eating only lettuce would need to consume 40 pounds of it every single day. Your jaw would give out before your stomach did. You would die with green between your teeth. The calorie is the only currency that matters when the supply chain breaks. Not vitamins, not antioxidants, raw energy, the ability to swim in Axe, to walk 10 miles. To think clearly enough to survive winter. Modern gardening has lied to you. It has made you worship water content and crunch. It has trained you to grow food that looks beautiful and weighs nothing. This is what most American gardens become when commitment fades. Toys, experiments, and optimism. What I am about to show you is different. These are not plants. They are insurance policies written in starch and oil. They are what our ancestors knew and what corporations wanted you to forget. This is the anti-starvation list. 10 crops ranked by one metric, how much life they give back per square foot of suffering. Number 10. Jerusalem artichoke. The name is a lie. It is not from Jerusalem. It is not an artichoke. Americans used to call it sunchoke, a marketing trick to make you forget what it really is. A native tuber that grows like a weed and stores 110 calories per 100 grams. Plant it once, it comes back forever. Dig the roots in November after the first frost converts the inulin to sugar. The taste is nutty, almost sweet. But here's the trap. Eat too many too fast and your gut will revolt. The inulin ferments. You will understand why the pioneers called it the fartichoke. Introduce it slowly. Your body adapts. Then you have a perennial calorie source that asks for nothing and gives until the ground freezes. USDA zones 3 through 9, full sun, any soil, zero care. The corporate seed companies do not sell it because you only need to buy it once. Number 9. Pinto beans. You already know this one. You have ignored it because it is boring. 347 calories per dry cup, 21 grams of protein, stores for 30 years in a sealed bucket, grows in 90 days from a 50-cent packet of seeds. A 100 square foot plot gives you 15 pounds of dried beans. That is 23,000 calories, enough to feed one person for 11 days. From a space smaller than your bedroom. The bean is not sexy. It does not photograph well for Instagram. But it is the reason civilization survived. Mesoamerica built pyramids on beans and corn. The combination creates complete protein. Your body can synthesize every amino acid it needs. Bush beans need no support. Pole beans give double the yield if you build a trellis. Either way, you plant in late spring after last frost. You water twice a week. You wait. The plant does the rest. When the pods turn brown and brittle, you pick them. You shell them. You store them. This is the most honest transaction in agriculture. Number 8. Winter squash. Hubbard, buttercup, kabocha. The varieties that store until March. 40 calories per 100 grams sounds weak until you realize a single Hubbard squash weighs 15 pounds. That is 2,700 calories sitting on your shelf. No canning, no freezing, just a cool dark room and time. Some varieties last 6 months. Plant 3 vines, get 40 pounds of squash. That is 24,000 calories from 3 seeds. The flesh is dense. It roasts into something that feels like substance. You can eat it when everything else is rotted. The pioneers knew this. They called it the keeping squash. It kept them alive. Plant in late May. Give each vine 50 square feet. They will sprawl like they own the place. Water deeply once a week. Harvest before first frost. Cure in the sun for 10 days. The skin hardens, the sugars concentrate. Then you store them and forget about them until January when you remember why you planted them. Number 7. Cabbage. You are thinking of coleslaw. Stop. Think of fermentation. Think of sauerkraut barrels in a root cellar. Think of vitamin C in February, when scurvy was still killing sailors. A 5-pound cabbage head is 570 calories raw. Fermented, it lasts 2 years. It becomes probiotic. It becomes currency. The Germans crossed the Atlantic with barrels of it. The Koreans built a national identity around it. You can, too. Plant in early spring or late summer. Cabbage likes cool weather. It tolerates frost. A 4x8 bed gives you 40 heads. That is 200 pounds. That is 22,000 calories. And unlike lettuce, cabbage is dense. It has structure. It fills you. If you can store it fresh for 4 months in a root cellar at 32 degrees, or you shred it, salt it, and pack it in crocks, then you have food that improves with age.
Whoa.
I love cabbage. This is the crop that let humans survive northern winters before refrigeration existed. Number 6. Dent corn. Not the sweet corn you grill, the corn you dry. 365 calories per 100 grams of kernels. A single stalk produces 1 to 2 ears. Each ear holds 600 kernels. That is 800 calories per stalk. Plant 100 stalks in a 20 by 20 plot. Harvest 80,000 calories. This is not theoretical, this is math. The Haudenosaunee called it one of the 3 sisters. It planted it with beans and squash. The corn stalk held the beans. The squash shaded the weeds. The beans fixed nitrogen. All 3 fed the people. This is pre-industrial permaculture. This is genius written in kernels. You plant in late spring when soil hits 60 degrees. You give it full sun and good drainage. You wait 110 days. The ears dry on the stalk. You pick them when the husk is brown and the kernels are hard. You shell them. You grind them into cornmeal or nixtamalize them into hominy. Either way, you have unlocked the niacin. You have made the calories bioavailable. Without this step, you get pellagra. The Native Americans knew this 6,000 years ago. Industrial food forgot it on purpose. We need to talk about why you do not know these plants. The supermarket wants you dependent. It wants you buying lettuce in plastic clamshells grown 2,000 miles away. It wants you to believe food comes from trucks, that calories come from bars with 47 ingredients. The crops I am showing you cannot be industrialized. They do not ship well. They do not have shelf appeal. They cannot be patented or controlled, so they were erased. Removed from seed catalogs, spread out of agricultural curriculums, replaced with hybrids that need fertilizer and pesticides and your money. Every single year. Number 5. Sweet potatoes. The crop that saved the South. 86 calories per 100 grams. But a single plant gives you 5 to 10 pounds of tubers that have 1,950 to 3,900 calories per plant. A 100 square foot bed holds 20 plants. That is 39,000 to 78,000 calories from dirt and sun and time. George Washington Carver preached this crop to sharecroppers. He knew it would grow in depleted soil. He knew it stored for months. He knew it could break the cycle of poverty and malnutrition. The industrial farmers ignored him. They wanted cotton. Plant slips in late spring, after soil warms. Give them loose soil and space. They vine, they sprawl, they choke out weeds. You water weekly, you wait 100 days. You dig before frost. The tubers cure in warm, dry air for 2 weeks. The skin toughens. The starches convert to sugars. Then you store them at 55 degrees. They last until April. Roast them whole. The flesh turns creamy and sweet. You do not need butter. You do not need marshmallows. You need nothing but heat and time. This is food that respects you. Number 4. Potatoes. White gold. The tuber that fed empires and caused famines. 77 calories per 100 grams, but one seed potato becomes a plant that produces 5 to 10 pounds of tubers. That is 1,750 to 3,500 calories per plant. A 4 by 8 raised bed holds 32 plants. That is 56,000 to 112,000 calories. This is enough to feed one person for 1 to 2 months, from 32 square feet. The Irish planted only one variety. The blight came, 1 million died. The lesson is not to abandon potatoes. The lesson is diversity. Plant 5 varieties. Stagger your harvest. Store them in darkness. Plant in early spring 2 weeks before last frost. Cut seed potatoes so each piece has 2 eyes. Plant 4 inches deep. Hill soil around stems as they grow. This forces more tuber production. Water consistently. Harvest when vines die back. Cure in darkness for 2 weeks. Store at 40 degrees in ventilation. They last 6 months. Boil them, bake them, mash them with nothing but salt. The flesh is pure starch, pure energy. This is the crop that let Finland and Russia and Ireland grow populations and climates that should have killed them. Number 3. Pumpkins. Not the carving kind, the eating kind. The varieties bred for flavor and flesh density. Long Island cheese, Musky de Provence, winter luxury. 26 calories per 100 grams sounds prophetic until you remember a single pumpkin weighs 40 pounds. That is 4,700 calories. And they store until February in a cool basement. But the real secret is the seeds. 559 calories per 100 grams. A large pumpkin holds 500 seeds. That is 1,400 calories in seeds alone. Roast them with salt, grind them into butter, press them into oil. The Austrians built an entire culinary tradition on pumpkin seed oil. You can too. Plant in late May. Give each vine 100 square feet. They sprawl aggressively. They will try to take over your garden. Let them. Water deeply once a week. Harvest before hard frost. Cure in sun for 10 days. The skin hardens into armor. Then you store them. Roast wedges at 400 degrees. The flesh caramelizes. The natural sugars concentrate. You do not need brown sugar or spices. The pumpkin is already perfect. This is food that requires nothing from you but heat. Number 2. Sunflowers. Not the ornamental kind. Mammoth, black oil, the industrial varieties. 584 calories per 100 grams of seeds. A single mature head holds 2,000 seeds. That is 8,000 calories per flower. Plant 30 sunflowers in a 10 by 10 plot. Harvest 240,000 calories. This is enough to feed one person for 4 months. From 100 square feet. From a flower. The seeds are 50% fat. Good fat, the kind your brain needs. The kind that keeps you warm. You can eat them raw, you can roast them, you can press them into oil. The Soviets fed armies on sunflower oil. You can feed your family. Plant in late spring, full sun, any soil. They tolerate drought. They grow 10 feet tall. They do not care about your fertilizer. They do not need your attention. You water them twice, and then you ignore them until September. The heads droop when ready. The back of the flower turns brown. You cut the heads. You hang them to dry. You rub the seeds out with your thumbs. This is harvesting that requires no machines, just hands and patience. Before I show you number 1, understand this. Every crop on this list is a rejection of the system. You plant them, you become ungovernable. You store them, you become independent. The supermarket loses power. The supply chain cannot starve you. You have opted out of the fragile industrial machine. This is not prepping. This is not paranoia. This is how humans lived for 10,000 years before corporations convinced us food came from trucks and not from dirt. Number 1. Hazelnuts. 628 calories per 100 grams, the highest on this list. But the genius is not the calorie density. The genius is longevity. A hazelnut bush produces for 50 years. You plant it once, you harvest for half a century. A mature bush yields 25 pounds of nuts annually. That is 70,000 calories per bush per year. Plant 10 bushes. That is 700,000 calories annually for 50 years. This is 35 million calories from 10 plants. Do the math. One person needs 730,000 calories per year. 10 hazelnut bushes feed one person indefinitely. This is food security that outlives you. Hazelnuts are 60% fat. Your body burns fat slowly. It sustains you. It keeps you warm. It feeds your brain. The flavor is rich, almost buttery. You can eat them raw. You can roast them. You can grind them into flour or butter. The Italians make Nutella from them, though you will not need sugar once you taste them fresh. Plant in USDA zones 4 through 9. They tolerate cold. They tolerate poor soil. They need cross-pollination, so plant 2 varieties. They begin producing in year 3. They peak in year 10. Then they give and give and give. The reason you do not know this plant is simple. You cannot industrialize a hazelnut orchard. The bushes take a decade to mature. They require patience. They require land you own. They require thinking beyond next quarter's profits. Corporations cannot monetize patience, so they sold you annual crops that need fertilizer and pesticides. They sold you dependence. Hazelnuts are freedom. Here is what I need you to understand. These 10 crops are not a hobby. They are not a garden project. They are a decision. You can keep buying lettuce in plastic. You can keep trusting the supply chain. You can keep believing the system will feed you when it gets hard. Or you can take 1 square yard of earth and plant something that gives back more than it takes. The supermarket will not save you. The government will not save you. A freezer full of meat will not save you when the power goes out, but a hazelnut bush will. A row of potatoes will. A patch of sunflowers will. This is not about the apocalypse. This is about Tuesday. This is about February, when the store is open but the tomatoes are mealy and cost $6 a pound. This is about August, when your neighbor is buying zucchini and you are harvesting 50 pounds of potatoes. Plant these crops, not because you are afraid, plant them because you are awake. Because you understand the calorie is the only currency that matters. Because you refuse to starve with a full stomach. The ground is still workable, get your hands dirty.